Hello and welcome back to Jimbo's PC Builds. Today it's time to do another unboxing video. So as you may have seen from the title, it's time to unbox another Keychron mouse. So without further ado, let's have a look at the mouse that we're going to unbox today. The Keychron mouse we're going to unbox today is the M7. I'm going to unbox this, then I'm going to compare it to two of the Keychron mice and also a mouse from Glorious that's quite similar. So, as you can see, I've taken the cellophane off. I did that to make sure all the contents were there, but I've not checked what's in there. I just went in, made sure the mouse was there, that kind of stuff. So without further ado, let's get this bad boy open and have a look what we get. Ooh. Box open with the usual amount of dexterity. Okay, so we have padding on the top. Then we have the whole instruction manual. Then we have, oh, very nice, both ends USB-C for the cable. We also get the usual dongle, so it goes from USB-C to USB-A converter, and we've also got a USB-A, it looks like, yeah, wireless dongle. We've got a USB-A to USB-C, and then we've got a USB-C dongle. Very good. And then finally, we have the mice itself. Now this mouse is, you'll notice, is very similar to the M4, which I previously looked at. The one big difference is, one of the things I would say about the M4, it was very bulbous. This one doesn't. So, but anyway, let's go a walkthrough of the mouse. Usual scroll wheel. Buttons are pretty good on the top. I'll give a comparison to this to the other mice. It's got a front button there instead of a scroll wheel that the M4 has got. It's got two side buttons underneath. You've got your RPT button. You've got your go to off, Bluetooth or dongle, and then you've got your DPI button, and then you've got your sensor. In terms of feet, you've got one big one across the top, one big one across the bottom, and one down the side. Alright, let's get, first of all, what we'll do is we'll get the scales out, and we'll compare the weight of these compared to the other three mice that we're going to look at today. So we have the scales, and they're set to 0. So let's start off with the M7. The M7 matches what it says on the box, which is 66 grams. Let's check out the Model I2 from Glorious, which is 73 grams, slightly heavier. Next, we're comparing against the M3, which is 80 grams, which is heavier again. And last but not least, the mouse I would say is closest to it, which is actually, sorry, the M6, not the M4, which is also 80 grams. So of the four mice we've looked at, it's the lightest. So let's bring in the camera towards the desk. We'll have a look at the how they move, how they feel in hand. You'll be able to hear the switches. And then I'll give you my final thoughts and conclusion on the mouse. So first of all, let's have a look at the M7. Moves really well, not getting any resistance on the mat. The left and right buttons, little bit of resistance there, not too bad. Push button on the scroll wheel works fine. The scroll wheel's quite tough. You have to work a little bit to actually get it to move. Front button's good, side button's good. General comfort for the side bit, which as I saw in the M6 video, I actually really like the side bit to rest your thumb on because of the grip that I have. And yeah, it works really well. Very happy with that. So let's bring on the i2. The i2, but by the way, on the M7 it's a little bit shorter than this. It's also not that bulbous, so this is a longer mouse. So I'm tending to find that I'm having to stretch my fingers to get to the end of the mouse. So if you've got bigger fingers than I have, then you might find this better mouse than the M7. So more of an audible click from the left and right buttons. You've got the two buttons on the top, which you don't have with the M7. Scroll wheel, I would say the resistance is about the same. Push buttons is good, and then the side buttons. One thing I don't like about the i2 is one of these buttons at the back, you've got to literally almost pull your hand off to get it. But moving around, I would say the M7's got slightly less resistance. This is the mouse I use generally at home for gaming and stuff, and I would say I like the fact that the fingers are stretched and it's good for my height. Bringing back the M7, just to quickly look, you can see that my fingers are bent, whereas on the i7, the i2, they're straight, whereas on M7, they're bent a little bit because it's a shorter mouse. So it's a bit more bulbous and brings generally more my fingers and my thumb into a claw grip, whereas this I tend to find on the i2, it's actually more flat. So for me personally, I prefer that, but mileage may differ. Let's have a look next at the M3. The M3 is more of a traditional shape. Again, it's shorter than the i2, but one of the things I would say is that there's more of a hump at the back, which tends to push my hand up more. And so if you like that, it'd be better. In terms of the buttons, not actually reversed, they're actually a lot of, the easy give, you could press those very easily, there's not a lot of resistance there. In terms of the scroll wheel, about the same resistance, probably a little bit less. For pushing the button, you've got to be careful because of that less resistance. And the I button on top, pretty good. Then the side buttons, again, the back one's a little bit too far back, but in terms of resistance, I would say this is probably a little bit more resistance than the others. But again, if you've got the kind of grip where you think you go up into a claw, then this might be better. One thing I would say is without the side rest on the side, my thumb just dangles a little bit. But yeah, very interesting. Now let's bring on the M6. So the M6 is a lot more bulbous. Look at the side of it there, it goes right up. So I think ergonomically, it's probably better for using for work because it kind of pushes your hand to the side a little bit. Buttons, there's a little bit more resistance there. The scroll wheel is about the same as the M7. Pressing the button's relatively easy with that little bit of resistance on the wheel. It's easy to press without moving the wheel. Button at the top, the scroll wheel at the side, which I like as a feature, especially if you're using spreadsheets and stuff like that. Pretty good. And the buttons on the side. Again, the wrist rest. But as you can see, my fingers are more stretched because of the bulge in the middle, so they're very straight. And naturally, I find my hand drifting to the right-hand side, which is probably better from a wrist. And if you've got, say, RSI problems, then it might be a good mouse for you to use compared to, say, the M7, which is a lot more flat and a lot more traditional in shape. So, what's my final conclusion on the M7? I would say it's kind of more of a compromise mouse, whereas the M6 was very much aimed at work. This competes a little bit more with the i2 because I think it's more of a general mouse. I think you can do all. It's relatively light as well at the 66 grams, so it really moves very easy. The feet are good. So yeah, it's a good mouse. And to be honest with you, if you're looking for, say, a jack of all trades mouse that can do both gaming and work, I think it ticks the boxes. Not sure I'm going to move away from the i2 because the thing is, I don't like a claw grip. I like my fingers nice and flat, and if I do that, my fingers are off the end. So, but if you prefer a claw grip, you want to do it all mouse where you want for work and for play, yeah, I think it's a great mouse, and I think you should check it out. Alright, I hope you found that information useful. Please leave any questions down below in the comments. If you like the video, please tick it. If you don't like the video, please not dislike. But if you do, please leave a comment as to why. I'm always looking out to find out ways I can improve my content. So by all means, leave a message down below. If you feel so inclined, a subscribe would be more than welcome. My community is relatively small at the moment. I've got 1,600 subscribers and I'd love to increase that number. If you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell icons because my cadence of content is, it's about one a month, so I'm not what you call sporadic. So having the notification ticked means you'll get notified when you get new content out, so you won't miss out. And that's it for all the YouTube stuff. And again, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, take care.